Hello, and welcome back to my channel. I talk about makeup a lot on this channel, and as a general rule, I try to keep it positive. But lately, these makeup brands, they've really been trying my patience, and I felt the need to make a video on makeup that I was rooting for. We were all rooting for. How dare you? Which, if you don't get that reference, it's from America's Next Top Model. These are brands and collabs and collections, if you will, that I thought would be way better than they turned out to be. And I get like mad over them. The one that inspired this video, the first one we're going to talk about, I actually like lie in bed awake at night to think about it. And I actually posted about it on my community tab the other day, so we're just going to get right into it. I'm talking about the MAC and Cruella collection. I don't know how you can make this collection so bad. For starters, total disclosure, I am a massive Cruella fan. Cruella de Vil is my favorite Disney villain, inarguably. People like to give me a very hard time about how much I love Cruella because she's a puppy killer. First of all, she doesn't actually get to kill any puppies in the movie, so that's a moot point. Second of all, she's not real. She's a cartoon character. There are people out there who, like, idolize serial killers, okay? We have multiple, not even documentaries, like fictitious retellings of, like, Ted Bundy's story, Paul Bernardo's story. Like, those are real people, and that's scary. Cruella de Vil is not a real... The power just went out. And now it's back. She's here with me somewhere, Cruella de Vil. Anyway, she's not a real person, okay? So, I love her. And I feel like I'm allowed to love her because she's not real. We're not talking about a real lady who got 101 Dalmatians. I say got because she only kidnapped Pongo and Perdidas. You know, she bought the rest of them. But anyway, I love Cruella because she's just fabulous. You know, she bursts into a room. She's like, Anita, darling. And I have a fear about this new movie. I haven't seen it yet. But I have two fears. So the main fear is, like, I see Emma Stone and I see Emma Stone. No matter what movie she's in, I just see Emma Stone. So I'm hoping she doesn't do that with Cruella. I'm hoping she manages to embody Cruella. I still wish that they would have just... I mean, it's Disney. They had the money. They knew the Cruella film was going to make money. Really, they should have cast an unknown as Cruella. But they didn't. They cast Emma Stone instead. I wish they would have cast an unknown, but that's okay. And then my other fear is that they're going to try to give her some kind of a sobby backstory. It kind of worked with Maleficent, but that's different. Like, Maleficent... You know from the original cartoon that she was just bitter. Like, that's okay. Cruella, she's a little next level, you know? She's a little bit batshit, and that's what I love about her. So I'm hoping the movie's good, and with that being said, I hope the movie is much better than this makeup collection. First of all, the whole collection is so boring. Everything, the Cruella-ness of it is the packaging is half black, half white. That is so boring. There was really nothing else you could do, no pattern, no nothing, that's it. The brushes aren't even available in North America. You can't, like, well, I don't know what that's all about, but you can't even buy the brushes in North America. The blush, highlighter, compact, ugly, but the worst of the worst, the ugliest part of this whole collection is the eyeshadow palette. What is this? What is the color story? Why all the wasted space? I get that they were trying to be innovative with the fact that it, like, magnetizes apart, it clicks together, but it is so stupid. It's so stupid. The color story is one of the ones that just makes me so mad because Cruella, when I think of Cruella's eye makeup, I think of the way Emma Stone seems to look in the movie and the way Glenn Close looked in her movies, which is a very sort of neutral, smoky-ish look. Or I think about original cartoon Cruella who had bright, matte, lime green eyelids, okay? You don't get any of that from this palette. There's like a random mauve, there's a navy, there's... Who came up with this color story? It doesn't make sense. The little drawings on the inside, I get that it's probably because, like, it looks like in the movie Corella's in, like, a fashion school or something like that, which makes sense for her character, but I just... This palette is so ugly. And I totally would have been a weenie and bought the whole collection had it had been pretty. Like, all they had to do was make this collection look cute, and I would have bought it. But instead, they decided to make an absolutely hideous Cruella collection, and I don't want any of it. It's really a shame that when Disney did their Venomous Villains collection, I wasn't really into the high-end makeup game yet. We didn't have a Sephora in Niagara, and I don't know that we had a MAC anywhere near me at that point. Because the Venomous Villains collection was really cute. It was a lot of compacts and stuff with the villains on them, and I would love to have the Cruella one of that. But that's gone, and instead we have this ugly Cruella collection. Like, really, it wouldn't have been hard to just make an eyeshadow quad with, like, a black, a white, and 2 shades of gray. Like, that would have been a perfect Cruella palette, and then just make it look like her on the outside. Nope, we're just gonna make it ugly. And I'm mad about that. I will always be mad about it. I will always be mad about it. Second thing I wanted to talk about in this video is how absolutely anticlimactic Lady Gaga's makeup line is. If you took Haus Laboratories off of her products, I would believe you if you told me it was a Lancome or a Marc Jacobs or any other sort of generic high-end makeup brand product. It doesn't look like Lady Gaga at all. For someone who has been so successful in her career for being so outlandish and outrageous and bold and bright, this is the most vanilla-looking makeup line I've ever seen. And I have not even moderately been interested in buying a single product from it. She did this like pinky, basic looking eyeshadow palette, and I just remember seeing it and thinking, how on earth does this match up with what Lady Gaga is known for? And then, to make it even more ridiculous, so when Chromatica, her most recent album, came out, she did this whole music video and song called Stupid Love, and then she launched a Stupid Love eyeshadow palette, which is in theory a great idea, but the Stupid Love eyeshadow palette looks nothing like the video. The video is very bright pink, bright purple, and the eyeshadow palette's like so boring with a couple of blue shades thrown in it. I'm telling you, I don't know who designed this makeup line, but it doesn't match Lady Gaga at all, and that's why I don't think it's probably not doing well. I can't believe it's doing well. And I think there's a whole other aspect to the sort of the yuckiness of the fact that it's an Amazon exclusive. Like, imagine Gaga sitting in a little boardroom with Jeff Bezos talking about her makeup line and like making a deal. Like, something about that feels so sketchy to me, and it does make me feel a little bit different about Lady Gaga than I did before, to be honest with you. It doesn't compute with the previous image I had of her, and I don't like it. So I like to pretend in my head with cognitive dissonance that she just approved someone else make this whole line and she just puts her name on it, because it doesn't look like her and I hate it. Similarly, someone else's line that I think does look like them, but I still don't like it for other reasons. I don't like Jennifer Lopez's skincare line. Here's what I don't like about it. She would have had a very successful skincare line if she would have done it way earlier. I don't know why she chose to come out with a skincare line now at the height of all of these, I don't want to say random celebrities, but random celebrities coming out with their own makeup lines. I read something somewhere once where someone referred to makeup lines as the new celebrity perfume lines, and it's very similar. You know, it just seems like everyone's coming out with their own stuff now, and Jennifer Lopez is someone who has always had beautiful skin, so it does seem weird to me that it took until now for her to come out with her own line. Not only that, but the packaging on her line sort of matches her aesthetic. It's very gold, it's very bougie, but that price tag is so insane. And I think Jennifer Lopez, her makeup line, I keep calling it makeup line, but Jennifer's is a skincare line. I think it would have been significantly more successful if she had made it more price friendly. She comes off as someone who's very real, and she likes to like relate with people, and you know, in all of her movies she usually plays like a rags to riches type character, and I just don't understand why this anti-aging serum is like $98 or something like that. Like, that price tag is out of control. And then she goes on Instagram and she talks about how her secret ingredient in her skincare is olive oil. So then she's selling you a $90 bottle of olive oil? I don't get it. I think Gaga's line looks nothing like her, and I think Jennifer Lopez's line is too expensive. I don't believe her that line is worth that much money. You know? I'm sure A-Rod's new makeup line was influenced by Jennifer a little bit. I know that they're not together anymore, but I'm sure, you know, it takes a long time to develop makeup, so I'm sure she had some influence in its development stage. And I have to admit, a lot of people don't like his makeup line because they're like, makeup as it is already gender neutral, but I mean, I don't have a problem with it. Make your money, you know what I mean? If men feel the need to buy something that says just for men on it because their masculinity is that fragile, go for it. Make money off it. I don't have a problem with that. The only picture I could find of his little foundation sticks, the shade range is terrible. I'm hoping that's just a bad promo shot and that the shade range is much better than that. But, I mean, if he wants to make concealer for men and market it for men, but it's really not any different than a stick foundation, you go for it. I don't have a problem with that. And I think it sort of fits his sort of, like, I'm a big manly man, but I'm going to put on makeup so my skin looks perfect. I think it works. I think it all works. Now, if I'm talking about makeup that I was rooting for, that we were all rooting for, how dare you? You have to know that there was going to be a Colourpop in here somewhere. Because Colourpop does too many collections for some of them to not be terrible. And I have my own Colourpop issues, to be honest with you. I hate how they do launches. It never works properly. Sometimes I can't even get in. It's frustrating. And it's extra frustrating to know that, like, I would have bought this if your website would have worked properly, but it didn't, and that's why you don't have my money. Like, it's frustrating to know that as a consumer. I tried to buy the Hocus Pocus collection, and I couldn't do it, and it's probably never going to come back. So, I mean, it is what it is. Whereas I bought the Sailor Moon collection on launch day with difficulty, but that's still around, so don't know why I rushed to do that. Like, you know what I mean? But I think of all of their collections, I know this one gets talked about a lot because it was such a hilarious miss, but the most disappointing collection Colourpop has done, I would say, is their Candyland collection. When I was a kid, Candyland was my favorite and probably the only board game that I would play, and I even played it by myself sometimes because I just loved it. And I don't know if everyone's copy of Candyland was like this, but mine was like, I don't know if it was terribly printed or something, but it was like ridiculously oversaturated. The skin tones were like orange. And then the eyeshadow palette that Colourpop launched was like the most faded, boring pastel thing on the planet. And I've since learned that this is sort of an issue with Colourpop, is that a lot of their eyeshadows, because they have such a low saturation, they don't really work on skin tones darker than me, which is most of the population. And I still can't believe that Colourpop, did a collab with Candyland and just didn't put any sort of brightness in that eyeshadow palette. It's very boring, very bland, and it could have easily been, like, if it had been, what is it, a 10-pan palette, and it was all bright colors, I totally would have bought it. But the way it was actually executed is so boring and so lackluster. And it's just like, where is the, not even like pigmentation as far as eyeshadow palette goes, but like, where is the color to this? Because it's so washed out looking. Like, I feel like I could get the same colors at the dollar store because there's no brightness, no saturation to the shades in that palette. And I just feel like they really could have done better by Candyland. And the very last thing that I want to talk about in this video, it's not the same, it's not something I was rooting for, but it's just something that I thought I should mention. This sort of seemed like the right sort of video to put it in. I really don't like collabs with dead artists, as an Abby rule. I don't like when brands collab with Marilyn Monroe. I get that she's an icon and she's, her look itself is iconic, but I mean, that girl was so used and abused and taken advantage of in her life that I feel like it's creepy when makeup brands continue to do it posthumously. Even a brand like Besame, I don't like that they did a Marilyn Monroe collection. I don't like that Hard Candy did a Marilyn Monroe collection. But most recently, Urban Decay did a collection with Prince. And I think that is so weird. First of all, Prince, A, is not alive to approve this or have any input into this. I don't care if you talk to his best friends and his family and his whoever else to have input. He himself is not here to approve it, so that's weird. He himself is also not here to benefit from it. So this is only benefiting his beneficiaries and the people around him and Urban Decay. And not only that, but Prince, while an icon, he hasn't really sort of been copywritten in the same way Marilyn Monroe and Elvis and all of them have been. Because Prince was such a private person, I have a hard time believing, I didn't know him, but I have a hard time believing that he'd be okay with an eyeshadow palette with his face on it. And not only that, but like, would he have chosen these sort of faded looking purple shades? Of course he would throw purple in there, but I don't know. We'll never know if he would have picked this collection for his eyeshadows or not, because he's not here for it. Something about that, it just seems yucky to me, because that person isn't here to approve it. You're doing it without that person's consent. Even if you have the consent of their whole family and their friends, he is not here to okay it, and I think that's gross. Now, Urban Decay themselves as a brand is a brand that I have been rooting for and I will always root for, because they used to be that bitch. Urban Decay used to be top tier. And I'll never understand why they discontinued the electric palette. I really wanted it, and I never bought it, and I wish I would have bought it because it was so cool. And they haven't really put anything else out that's like that level of popularity that their naked palette was when it launched, and, the electric palette. And now they're collabing with Prince, which I guess kind of makes sense, and it fits their theme, but Prince isn't alive, and I just feel like it's a little bit sketchy. And I don't like that. I am rooting for Urban Decay still, but I think you should just collab with like people who are here, people who can put their input into products. You know, there's enough of them. There's enough influencers. There's enough famous people. Just pick one. Do a collab with Olivia Rodrigo. That'll, like, completely put you out there. People will love it. You'll have a whole new Gen Z fan base. And anyway, those are just some of the makeup collections from recent years that I truly, truly have not liked and that I truly think about a lot because they were so disappointing to me and I was excited for them or I was excited about the brand and then I just completely failed as far as I can see. You know what I mean? I would love to hear if you have similar thoughts on any sort of makeup product or brand or any launch in general. Was there something that you were excited for and then when you actually saw it, you were so disappointed? I would love to know that it's not just me who feels this way about makeup sometimes. And anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure you give it a thumbs up and you subscribe to my channel if you have not subscribed already. And I will see you next time. Bye!